hello. I'm sorry I am late. For those of you not in my Discord or in my socials, I had to go get food because I forgot that eating was a thing for like 24 hours. But I ate, and so we are good. Why do I feel like I'm bigger than normal? Do my ears usually go off the screen? Like, it's just a little bit, but does it? Is that normal? Maybe? It might be fine. Why is the music still playing? Oh, that's why. Duh. I forgot about the jazzy undertones. But hello! Good morning. Hi, Canny. Hi, Ghostly. How are you? Guys, I love my community. They're great. You're all great. But I got heavily bullied in my Discord for like a solid like 20 minutes. Kenny, you sound sarcastic. Even through text, that sounds sarcastic. Oh, going on her. Same! Though I work nights, so that's normal. How have you all been? The storm that was raging through my city is over. It was going for like 2 whole days. Starting a day and a half. But like it was going strong. I slept so well, partly because of depression, partly because of the thing. And gymnast. Ooh, nice. Yeah, no, it was insane. It was a thunderstorm with a light thunder. So like my depression mixed with the sound of rainfall in my basement. Peak time to sleep. And I was off yesterday and today. So I'm just like, this is peak. This is fantastic. Do I remember any of it? Absolutely not, because again, I fell asleep to the rain. But it was fantastic. And the hectic week at work is now over. 1, because I'm not at work, and 2, because inventory was only a day, it turned out. So like all that filled up for 1 day, and that I didn't even work. Dude, the thing is, I don't even listen to white noise. White noise isn't something that like relaxes me, which is the weird thing, because like if I try falling asleep to white noise, is rain sounds included, it doesn't work. I just get bored, and my brain goes to thinking of other things like that, and I want to go. Why are you going on nightly runs when it's raining? You could get sick. But like actual rain knocks me the fuck out. Trying to listen to it on my phone or through my headset or my earbuds, absolutely not. Justice. Oh, because Batman. I had to think about that for a minute. It's fine. But we are going back into Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. Okay, I swear, did you get bigger without me knowing? I'm not that tall. I want to be that tall. I don't like having to ask tall people for favors or climbing on shit. I've already proved I am not. I am the clumsy type. I shouldn't be trusted climbing. Do you trust me with stilts? Is stilts something you trust me with, Kenny? Yeah, I know I'm right. Anyway. I am going to go ahead and switch over. It's gonna show my screen that I have this commission and I never use it because it's always buried. Because like I don't lose my screen when I get onto the when I click off the game, just for some odd reason when I do click off it, the music stops. Oh, it's proving me wrong, you asshole. Never mind. I'm the liar here. It's fine. I want to load. What? I'm on the starting screen. What? What do you mean I may lose unsaved progress from the starting screen? Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. Aren't moon shoes like super dangerous though? Okay, no, I just have to talk to you about all of this. I'm not entirely sure that the sword was the real murder weapon. Kenny, I know you're lying to me. Right. I guess you want to prove that someone else took the sword in the body. Did the Inquisition find anything suspicious on the scene? If you're asking if we found another bloody weapon lying around, we didn't. That would have been a little too convenient, wouldn't it? Hello, Glitch. If there was another murder weapon, the killer probably walked out with it. Do you think they could have hidden it somewhere in the tavern? Doubt it. After the trial, Steelwind turned the place upside down and scanned it with her magic. If there was something hidden here, we would have found it already. Why are you taking me back to the main screen? I obviously want to ask the other questions. I can't believe you overlooked something so obvious. Oh, shut it with that. I already got an earful about that mess from Steelwind. Well, you don't have to worry about me screwing things up. Steelwind's taken over the entire investigation. While I wish that she would stay a little out of it, because she is trying to prove my client wrong. I can look up what her name is. Hold on. I totally didn't forget. Celeste. Well, I understand you are trying to prove Celeste. Like, I do appreciate that she is trying. That she does want it to be a fair trial. She is also trying to get Celeste to be found guilty, which is the problem for me. So I wish she wasn't as hands-on a little bit. Do prosecutors normally do that? Prosecutors. Bleh. Words. Nope. She ain't no prosecutor. She's a Steelwind. I know better than to go against orders from her sort. Ah! Corruption runs rampant, even apparently with the greatest intentions. Thank you for the hydrate. I drank most of this water before I started, but I have 3 other bottles. It's fine. You're just a little guy. Uh-huh. Sure you are. I know we made a mistake, but she's taking this too far. She even had my men draft a map of the crime scene. Wabba. Wapta. Really? Could I see it? Knock yourself out. I have a bunch of copies. Don't know how much good it'll do you, though. I got a map! A geometrically scaled map of the crime scene. Does it tell me? Oh, I forgot about the flashing fucking lights. That's actually a lot more detailed than I thought it was going to be. Okay, you can't see it because I am in the way, but the little box in the corner says it's a 5 by 5 foot. Whatever that means. Like, is the mat 5 feet? Because there's no way that... It has to be, because there's no way the dining area and, like, the bar is in this tavern is 5 feet. Yeah, that's the map size. I'd be a 5 foot. I heard that this was Prosecutor Steelman's first trial. She must be pretty talented if that's true. A pain in my ass is what she is. That damn noble comes in here telling me how to do my job. I mean, you do kind of suck at your job. Lord knows what she's even doing here. Do you think she's not here on behalf of her father? I honestly don't know. My men are on edge because of that. You know, we were deployed to one of those regions. The ones where her old man was squashing those rebellions. They said we needed to investigate the terrorists there, but by the time we got there, they just had us clean up the bodies. Scaled Lord. I want to know more about this world's religion. What was the Scaled Lord? Do you praise a dragon? Is that what is happening? I need to know. Is he just a very scaly man? Doesn't matter if it's women or children, Lucio Steelwind will kill them all the same. A bunch of my men quit after that. They couldn't stomach working for a monster like that. What about you? We all gotta get paid somehow. Not like I can do anything. He's basically a duke. He is all the emotions but happy. So I kind of feel bad for this man. Just a normally large lizard. That'd be amazing. I found everything that I could in the dining area, but what did it all mean? No other murder weapon was found, and there wasn't any evidence of another person at the scene either. I only knew about the anonymous anon witness who discovered the body. Hey, you okay, kid? Once again, I let everything else disappear from the world. You listening? I think we're concerning Orem. There's no clear evidence pointing to another killer. There is, however, evidence pointing to whether or not Flintheart moved when he was attacked. What? I am also lost. How did Flintheart move before he died? Does that matter? There's no blood trail leading to or from the body. That fact implies something about the location of Flintheart's death. The fuck? What is this? What is happening? I don't know if I like this. During the investigations, you'll sometimes go over all that you've learned to formulate deductions. Tyrion will think through the case and raise statements that must be answered. Use the arrows to construct a sentence that responds to this statement. You mean the question? Because that is a question, that is not a statement. While more than one response may be technically true, only one response will be meaningful. So, okay. Okay.
What
so,
if...
The fuck? Don't speak when I'm trying to... Do not move during the attack. I don't know if this has anything to do with the case, but okay. Flintheart died where he was attacked. He didn't move from his position at all. He might have even died instantaneously. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I'm still trying to figure out why that was brought up. There's also the autopsy report, which says that he died from a stab from behind. He must have been facing away from his attacker. He was probably caught off guard, and he would have been in shock and too incapacitated to move. It also doesn't look like his body was dragged anywhere either. He was definitely attacked right where this chalk outline is. Crime scene map updated. Ooh. I want to see. Oh, wait, does that mean each... Oh, does that mean... Okay, I get what you mean now, Kenny. The 5 foot. I thought the entire map was 5 feet, not just the square. Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Okay. I was dumb, but that's usually par for the course for me. There's also the shattered bottle of lotus juice. How many of these am I doing? How did the bottle shatter? Also, it's a glass bottle. If he was standing there with the bottle in his hand, he dropped it and it broke. Why is this if this doesn't have any importance to the actual, like, trial, I'm going to scream. The fragments are right next to the body. The bottle must have only shattered hours ago. So Flintheart dropped the bottle during the attack. Flintheart dropped the bottle exactly when he was attacked, which implies that he was holding it when the attack occurred. The child remains of the... Oh, it's pulling this bottle. Okay, so it's just updating things. I don't understand why we need to update this, but okay. What's so strange about that? These details may seem insignificant, but together, they'll give me a better idea of what the board looked like. The board? Poor Orem is so confused. Though I am also confused, so we're in the same boat here. There's also the fact that the lights were out. Were these candles here when you arrived at the crime scene, Orem? No, we had to light some so we could see the crime scene properly. What was the state of the crime scene? We thought it was weird too. The girl and her father must have had their argument in the dark. So they didn't light any candles to make up for the broken lights. Okay. This is a really poor village, so I don't know if you can claim insurance. Like, this is medieval times with magic. So, like, I don't think insurance claims was a thing, especially in a village where they don't have, like, modern plumbing. Okay, so...
Maybe.
Stop speaking! The random voice acting at very inopportune times is jarring. Why? Okay, so the crime scene... It was or wasn't. Shattered, destroyed. It wasn't lit.
What if?
By the... Because the lamps are broken. Yes? Oh, hey! Contact clues! I am so glad I'm a good reader. That's not happening again. Please let that be it. Please don't let there be any more. I don't like the stress of that. I feel like I'm taking a test. I don't like tests. If there's any lighting during the attack, it could have been produced by the murderer. I could slowly see the position of the pieces, but there are still areas I was unsure of. That probably this means lights were out. Were not operational during the murder. Okay. That one I can see kind of being relevant, considering how the start of this chapter went. I still don't like that they started it during the trial. That was dumb. They might have used a torch or a lantern of some kind. Additionally, the argument that Celeste had with Flintheart must have been sparked by something. Things seemed fine between them before I went to bed. It was spontaneous. They weren't planning to have a conversation in this room. In this dark... I am scaring this poor man! Tyrion, calm down! In this darkness, Flintheart wouldn't have had a lot of visibility. He probably never saw the attack coming. He would have been surprised and in too much shock to run away. Kid? The bottle may seem insignificant, but he was holding it when he was attacked. Was he pouring a drink for himself or a visitor? Kid! I was in a frenzy, but the commander snapped me back to reality. What was all that about? Sorry, I just get lost in my head sometimes. Yeah, well, cut it out. You're mumbling like a crazy person. Right. Sorry. It felt like I found everything I could here. It was time to move somewhere else. It's okay. So I can't talk to you anymore? I can't. Okay. Okay, so we're moving. Where are we? Ooh, I can go upstairs. As I made my way up the stairs, I overheard Steelwind arguing with someone. If you keep showing your face here, people will start asking questions. Ooh, is it her father? I have the investigation under control now. All you have to do is stay quiet until this is over. Oh, it's you! Why are you here? You may be a Steelwind, but this is my land. I will do as I see fit. He looks like a very pretty lady when he looks like he's gotten caught. Yeah, that might be my type. Hello. As I turned down the hallway, I bumped into what appeared to be a nobleman. With a quick motion, he drew a handkerchief to clean the parts of his clothes that had brushed against me, his cold gaze hardening into a contemptuous glare. He gave me the same look he'd probably give to a rotting pile of excrement on the Cornhaven streets. Oh, sorry. Watch where you're going, you weed. Okay, watch yourself. Ah, you're that defense attorney from the trial, aren't you? And you are? I am Garrick Pierce, the ruling noble of this land. You are 38. You are a nobleman. The leader of House Pierce. He is ruling noble of Cornhaven and the villages nearby. He appears to be involved in Prosecutor Steelwing's case against Celeste, but to what extent? Thank you for the hydrated posture check. Hi, Limbo. How are ya? I'm getting so much water. I don't know if I brought enough. You guys are gonna keep making me drink. And then who would you like to be called good girl? I'm good. I'm kind of missing the sound of the rain, but I couldn't stream because my lights were kind of flickering, so kind of happy it's not downpouring anymore. I suppose I should thank you for playing your role in the current trial, if only you weren't such a stubborn nuisance. Dude, I will have your ass thrown behind bars so quick. I suppose that you also believe my client is guilty? I never said that. But I'm not wrong, am I? It matters not what I believe. This entire scandal has done nothing but rile up the public. Of course, Kenny. Enjoy your alert. Magic is a gift for the nobility, and the nobility alone. It is a symbol of our cosmic right to rule. Bastards like that girl should know their place. This is what happens when the gift of magic is used by those of impure blood. She's just an innocent woman who got wrapped up in all of this. Ha! I must commend you. You almost had me fooled. Excuse me? Wait. Did you actually believe her little story? I know you're not a good guy. I know you're not. We saw you murder him. But fuck, he's pretty. I have such a weakness for androgyny. Oh, you're pretty. Stop. You're a walking pile of garbage. But you're so pretty. Oh no. What good is a defense attorney if they don't believe in their clients? Scale Lord. And here I took you for another envious commoner. But you actually believe that's right. Woo! 3 stream streak. Nice. I do like them toxic. It's bad. Like, I have my non-toxic anime crushes too. But fuck. The toxic ones do it for me. It makes me so happy I don't date. Because I would have so many problematic exes. I do have a problematic ex. Before I figured all that out. Jesus. I would have so many stories. Are you sure you're Timora's brat? I knew I had picked my battles, but I really weighed the legal consequences of punching him square in the face. Do it! Let me tell you something, boy. Even if that bastard is innocent, the charges have been laid and made public. Someone must take the fall, lest the public accuse the justice system of corruption. But it is corrupt. If the king believes there is any unrest here, even for a moment, he will unleash Lucio Steelwind and the soldiers upon this region. You are the reason for that! I'm sure you're well aware of what tends to follow after. Oh, she does not look happy about that. Okay, so she's not here on the behest of her father. Good to know. That doesn't mean my client should be convicted of a crime she didn't commit. What is one insignificant girl compared to the stability and well-being of the people in this land? You're far too short-sighted. That's enough. Stop antagonizing him, Pierce. He glanced at the prosecutor for a moment and then back at me. For a moment, I caught a flicker of fear in his eyes. I suppose that even House Pierce had reason to fear the Steelwinds. Run along, pretty boy. How old are you again? Not a boy, but you act like one. And that's where the fun is. Without another word, he walked down the stairs. You good there, Arya? I don't agree with him. What? Our system should exist to deliver truth and justice, not quell public opinion. If you really believed that, you wouldn't be working against my client. Do you honestly think she's the kind of monster who would murder her own father? I'm not so superficial that I judge someone based on their appearance. The only thing I trust is evidence, and all of it points to her as the only possible killer. Is that really what you believe? Or are you just hiding the fact that you're here on your father's behalf? Oh, she pissed. Tyrion, read the fucking room. Don't read the room. Read the facial expressions. Oh my god. I am not working with my father. I'm working against him just as much as you are. What? She's working against her father? My apologies. I don't know what came over me. It's fine. I respect you, Mr. Cuthbert. You should fight according to your own ideals, just as I will fight for mine. I tried to think of a retort, but said nothing as she walked past me. Okay, but like, we were told that not registering your magic, your arcana, or whatever, it is like illegal. So like, his Eyes of Horus, I believe, are those not considered magic? You're like literally reading someone's mind and emotions. Is that not magic? There was a door at the end of the hallway. I saw a light from under the door. Someone was inside. I tried to open the door, but it seemed to be locked. I knocked on the door, but received no answer in return. Weird. There were some candles lighting up the hallway. They looked like they were part of the old architecture. Okay, so that's all of that. Several doors led to guest rooms. Aside from the rooms that Miss Timora and I used, they didn't look like they'd been open for quite some time. Then what's up with that one? I'm not gonna get any answers. Okay. So next I probably need to talk to Celeste. Oh, Cuthbert, you're back? Sorry, I guess I'm just a little lost about where to go. Well, I guess I can give you some guidance. During your investigation, you can talk to your mentor to get a clue on where to go next. Feel free to do this if you ever feel lost or stuck. In future cases, you may receive assistance from a certain mercenary. Oh, is she gonna be like, Mia? From... Ace Attorney? Oh my god, I forgot everything. It's fine. I ran back to the dungeons. Celeste was huddled down in the corner of her cell. She noticed me, and the weight of her shoulders seemed to lift, if only for a moment. Hi. She avoided me before, but I doubt she had many friendly faces since she has seen many friendly faces since the trial. Hi, I can't stay for long. I just need to ask you some questions about the case. Right. The trial. I'm really sorry about what happened today. Well, it all ended up okay in the end, right? That was unusually forgiving. If she hadn't calmed me down, the trial may have ended very differently. I still don't understand, though. Why were there so many traces of magic at the crime scene? Did you cast Mage Plan on your sword that day? I used it when I was training last week. Is that where those traces came from? No. Magical traces only last for 48 hours. After that, they disappear completely. Not to mention that spells only leave traces of magic on the objects that they are cast on. Even if the sword made physical contact with the body, the traces shouldn't have spread to the wound. Really? What does that mean then? I don't know. The floor next to the body had a strange texture to it too. If the killer used a transformation spell, it may have changed your sword and the surrounding floor. That doesn't make any sense though. The unbreakable sword. I know my theory sounds far-fetched, but the traces were only on parts of the sword. That must mean that the outer layer of the sword must have broken off during the murder. My sword can't be damaged like that, even when transmutation magic is used on it. That's the whole reason why I have it. How can you be so sure? Back when I was traveling, I'd always break my weapons by swinging them too hard. They'd end up breaking in 2 or 3 swings, maybe 4 if it was well made. How much force was she swinging these weapons with? That sword was a gift from one of my clients. He said it was specially carved from the bones of a purple worm. Transmutation spells can't damage them. I've had it for years, and it doesn't have a single chip in it. I don't even need to sharpen it. Where did you get this sword again? The Eastern Kingdoms. Isn't travel outside of Wyvern Guard illegal? Why? Mercenaries don't have a lot more legitimate options for work in Wyvern Guard. I did what I had to do. I doubted I'd be able to contact the sword's maker in time, if at all. I would just have to take her word for it. But if what she was saying was true, why weren't the traces of transmutation magic covering the entire sword? Could you tell me more about your father? I'm sorry. I know this must be difficult for you. I remember how you two were yesterday. Is this really going to help? Knowing more about him could help me figure out who actually did this. Okay. I was adopted by the McCoys when I was a baby, but they always treated me like I was part of their family. The townsfolk would always shoo me away. They didn't want anything to do with a noble bastard. My dad got into a bunch of fights with them over that. But I had to go and ruin everything. He was the voice. He was a voice of dissidence, wasn't he? Did you share his views? I knew he hated the nobility, but I didn't know about his rallies until just recently. If I knew how much danger his life was in, I'd have never left Wyvern Guard. I think he knew that. If only I'd been there that night, he'd still be. It's all my fault. It's not your fault. No one could have expected that. I felt sorry for her, but I really needed to know more. Any witnesses? I could hear your argument from my room last night. Your neighbors must have overheard it too. Did any of them come to check up on you two? They might have seen the person who did this. I doubt it. Even if they did see something, they wouldn't testify for someone like me. Why? I thought your father was a key figure among the dissidents. Yeah, but all of his supporters come from the neighboring towns. Everyone inside the village hates our family. People could tell I was adopted. It's not as if I look like either of my parents. Rumors spread about how some noble lord must have had a tryst with my mom. They were wrong, obviously, but it's hard to stop a rumor like that when it spreads. That's terrible. It's fine. I stopped caring about it years ago. Things were manageable before, but things got worse when my dad started speaking out against the nobility. He wasn't just a pariah at that point. He was drawing a lot of attention to Cornhaven. Everyone's heard the rumors about what the Grand General was doing in villages like ours. The neighbors tried to threaten my dad to stop, and when that didn't work, they started vandalizing our tavern. They'd even steal my parents' supplies. I had to come back to Wyvern Guard because of some of the other villagers broke into the tavern. They were cowards. They thought they could scare your dad into stopping. They were scared. My dad was painting a giant target on this region. It's not as if the kingdom would care if a village like ours were destroyed. She wasn't wrong. Stories of Lucio's Steelwind were circulating in the papers for months. But even with that, he still stood at the top of his kingdom. There were no real consequences. That's not great. The argument, the thing that we really need to know about. Could you tell me why Funheart was so angry at you? Celeste, honey. For as long as I can remember, my dad has hated magic. If you even mentioned it around him, he'd fly into a rage about it. And you were born a mage. Ever since our tavern closed, my family has been in a lot of debt. Fighting always came naturally to me, so I became a mercenary and learned how to use magic to help me fight. Most of Wyvern Guard's mages are in the nobility. People will pay a lot for a soldier who can use arcane magic. So that's why she was a mercenary. Ooh! Okay, so let's learn magic to shape our family. Apparently many people will pay extra for a mercenary that can use magic. Last night, my dad found my spell compendium. When I saw him holding it, I finally came clean to him, and that set him off. He shouted at me. Shouted. Bleh. He shouted at me. At me. Oh my god. Read. The words are right there. My god. I need help. He shouted at me. He told me I'd betrayed He told me that I'd betrayed him and everything he stood for. I can't imagine how that must have felt. I deserved it. I knew how much he hated magic. He was fighting for what he believed in, and I wasn't even there to protect him. Don't say that. You couldn't have known what would happen. I'm sure he still loved you. He just lost his temper. No, I could see it in his eyes. He hated me, and he died hating me. I felt a sharp pain in my chest as I read that, but I didn't say anything more. Locked door. There's a locked room in the tavern. It's at the very end of the hallway upstairs. The Inquisition probably searched it already, but it's the only room I haven't seen yet. At the end of the hallway? I think that's my room. Do you know how I could get in there? No! I'm your lawyer. I'm not going to do anything strange. Sorry, you're right. I always keep the key on me. You can use this to get inside. I got the key. Why can't I just press the back button to exit out of that? That's so dumb. Alright, we're going into our room. I set Celeste's key into the lock and turned it, allowing the door to creak open. Oh, that's such a pretty painting. I heard the fumbling of objects on the other side. Someone else was there. Hello? Are you the wife? You are very pretty. Not as pretty as Pierce, though. But still pretty. I don't know if it's a bad thing or not that a guy is prettier than she is. I already told you nights, everything that I know. What more do you... Oh, it's you. Something about the way the woman carried herself reminded me of Celeste. I knew she was adopted, but she clearly took after her mother. I recognized the same bubbly warmth in the woman's posture, tempered with a subtle hint of maturity. Sorry if I'm intruding, but what are you doing in Celeste's room? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm Jolene. I'm Celeste's mother. Celeste's mother, I can't imagine what she's going through. She not only has to grieve her husband's death, but also has to deal with her daughter's arrest for his murder. I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for her. I really appreciate you sticking by her after she hit you like that. It's fine, really. I kind of deserved it for freezing up like that. Anyways, Jolene was Flintheart's wife. That meant that she knew him better than anyone else, even Celeste. Do you mind if I ask you some questions? Of course. I'll do everything to help. He's helped Celeste a lot, but can I really trust him? The eye revealed a hint of fear and distrust from her. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Could you tell me more about your husband? Why did he hate magic so much? I understand that magic is a symbol of the nobility, but things sounded different with him. It's as if he thought Celeste had betrayed him somehow. I think... Yeah, nope, I read that in the wrong voice. It's fine. He's never had anything good to say about mages, and I could see how much his words indirectly hurt her. Did something happen? I don't really know. I don't trust him enough. I shouldn't talk about Effie. Who was Effie? Should we just casually admit this? Like, who else would we have heard the name Effie from? Does Flintheart's resentment have something to do with Effie? How do you know about her? There shouldn't be any records of what happened. I have my ways of finding out. Of course. You work for Ruby Timura. What did she do? Did she strong-arm one of the neighbors into talking? We don't need people like her going around Cornhaven and opening up wounds. What? Flintheart always idolized her, but I could never stand her methods. Is this about the rumors? Rumors? When my mentors started fighting against the justice system, the nobility started levying accusations of misconduct against her. They spread rumors that she engaged in bribery, forgery, and blackmail, all to discredit her. Is that really true? She personally taught me how to defend persecuted mages like her daughter. You've seen how I defended Celeste. I'm doing everything honestly and legally. Miss McCoy, I know you don't know who to trust right now, but I need you to know more. I need to know more about Flintheart. Well, would you believe me if I called you Pretty Armor? Right now, I don't have any leads as to who might have done this. Okay, but promise me that you won't mention any of this in court. I don't want Celeste being dragged into another scandal, and I sure as hell don't want any more Steelwinds showing up in town. I can't make any promises, but my priority will always be to keep your daughter safe. I guess that's as much as I can ask for. Flintheart's past. Effie was Flintheart's younger sister. Celeste doesn't know about her. She died 20 years ago, and Flintheart never brought her up. What happened? She was friends with the son of the ruling noble back then, and he'd always sneak into town to see her. He was so different back then. Effie had always loved magic. It reminded her of the fairy tales she read growing up. He'd always show her his spells by the lake, all to make her smile. But he'd been warned not to use his spells without his instructor present. One day, he lost control of one of his spells and wounded Effie. We rushed her back into the town, but it was too late. By the time we could dress her wounds, she was already gone. Stories like that were awfully common among the nobility these days. The next day, the Arcane Inquisition came to investigate what happened. The boy's parents used their influence to cover everything up. They even threatened Flintheart's family into staying quiet. After that, they told the town that Effie had been mauled to death by a wolf. Flintheart's sister. But I don't like that this is evidence when she really doesn't want this getting out. Flintheart McCoy's sister died during an accident involving the local lord and his magic. Ever since then, Flintheart has hated magic and the mages who wield them. Flintheart all but declared war on the nobility after that. He turned our tavern into a meeting place for commoners who shared his resentment. Word spread, and night after night, more and more revolutionaries started showing up to his rallies. And it wasn't long before they started planning a revolution. They started contacting like-minded groups in the towns nearby. They were even starting to arm themselves. I could only watch as everything unfolded. I'd heard stories about what the Steelwinds were doing to people like him. I begged him to stop. So did some of the other townsfolk. We knew he was going to get all of us killed. I was shocked when the knights told me he'd been murdered, but I wasn't surprised. I really hoped he'd let go of his anger when Celeste showed up. He was finally starting to change after we adopted her. Her adoption. Can you tell me more about Celeste? How did she become a part of your family? It all happened 19 years ago, a year after Effie's death. We were closing one night when we found a baby with white hair abandoned in the dining area. We waited weeks for her parents to come by, but no one ever came looking for her. We named her Celeste, after the full moon that was out that night. We'd always wanted a child, so I thought she must have been a gift from the Scale Lord. But one day, I spotted Celeste practicing her magic. I think that's when I realized that a noble must have abandoned her at our inn. I didn't care, though. I loved her all the same. Flintheart did, too. Wait, you knew that she was a mage this entire time? I did. We haven't known her for very long, but she's a terrible liar. Flintheart must have noticed it too, but I think he didn't want to believe it. It's my fault. I should have forced him to see the truth. I don't see how any of this is helping with the case. I I understand we need to get to know them better, but... I spoke with Celeste earlier, and she believes her father died hating her. What? He loved her more than anything in the world. They must have been really close. More than anything. Do you want to hear a story? Celeste had just come from the Eastern Kingdoms. She wouldn't stop talking about this foreign drink that she loved. Flintheart did everything he could to have it shipped here. He even had called in a bunch of favors to do it. In the end, he was only able to get a single bottle of it. Is it really that rare? It's a product of the Eastern Kingdoms, and it's hard to import anything from outside of Wyvengard. I wouldn't be surprised if it were the only bottle of lotus juice in this region. He was planning on apologizing! Oh! Oh! Oh, that's sad. Wait a minute. Lotus juice? Is this the bottle that Flintheart brought? Oh no. He was going to surprise her with it. I wondered where it had disappeared to. I found it shattered on the floor of the dining area. That's strange. Celeste would always help herself to our pantry, so he was hiding it in our room. Really? When was the last time you saw it? It was right before I left the house that night. It would have been in his room before their argument. I had investigated the tavern much as I could, but there was one last thing I needed to do. It was time to head back to the dungeon and talk to Celeste. Guys! He knew that he said something he shouldn't. Oh! He really loved his daughter. Oh, you're back. Did you forget something? There was one last thing I wanted to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about the argument that you had with Flintheart. Oh. I knew it was like to lose a parent. I'd never be able to carry that burden if I thought my mother had died hating me. I know he was angry at you, but after everything I've heard about you two, I know that he still loved you. Tyrion, even in his final moments, I'm sure that he still cared for you. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. It looked like it wouldn't be that simple, though. I would need to persuade her if I wanted her to believe me. Your father loved you very much. Can you tell me more about this? Oh. I don't really know what to say. Really? Did I pick the right one? Oh. Oh. Okay. That final argument with her father, I thought it'd be, like, why else would I be holding a bottle of lotus juice, even if it's broken? Your mother could figure out what it was. The final argument with her father would be a lasting scar on Celeste. Throughout this entire investigation, I learned how much they cared for each other. I couldn't leave things as they were. I don't have a mage child. What do you mean? I don't want kids. I know you're just trying to make me feel better, but my dad has hated mages. I knew that better than anyone. So with hated magic, there's no reason. There is a reason, and I am so sorry that you didn't know about this. I don't know if it's my place to say this, but there's a reason why your father hated magic. What? Decades ago, he had a sister. She was killed by a mage in a tragic accident. Is this why it was evidence? I hope this is the only time that I have to bring this up. That's why he resents magic so much. It ripped away there's something on my lip. I think my skin is peeling. Is that? Did I cut myself and not know? That's a possibility. Okay. That's why he resents magic so much. It ripped away someone that he loved dearly. I never knew that. But that just proves it then, doesn't it? It was selfish of me to learn magic. I knew how he felt about it, but I didn't care. I just wanted to get away from my life here. He had every right to be angry at me. I was being selfish. What? You're not a selfish person, Celeste, and this proves it. Does it? Thank you, but I don't really see how that proves it. Okay, yeah, no, I thought so. I just pressed the wrong button. Oops. What do I do? Okay, so why wasn't it selfish? You? Okay, no, I know that. I know that sound. I think that. But didn't you learn magic just to benefit? But you didn't learn magic just to benefit yourself, though. You used it to support your family. You gave them hope when the nobility shut down their tavern. You didn't have a choice. You had a gift, and you used it to your advantage. That's not selfish. Shut up. What? Just shut up, Tyrion! Why won't you leave me alone? Celeste, you don't know anything. You weren't there. You didn't hear what he said to me. You didn't see the way he looked at me. The only thing about how I betrayed him is this where the bottle comes up? It has to come up at some point. I knew him. I knew him better than anyone. He loved me. He took care of me, and I threw it all away. I chose to become a mage. He would never forgive me for that. Yes? Take a look at this picture, Celeste. Oh, what's this? Broken glass? Oh, wait. That bottle. It's a bottle of lotus juice. These shards were on the floor of the crime scene. What? That can't be true. They don't even sell it in Wyvern. Your father called in a bunch of favors to have it imported for you. He did? He didn't hate you, Celeste. He imported your favorite drink just to make you happy. No, that still doesn't change anything. If he did that all for me, it was before he knew the truth. That's not true. Stop acting like you know anything about us. You only met us yesterday. How could you know how he felt about me? Don't you think I want to believe you? I know the truth. He hated me. He hated me just like he hated every other mage. Celeste, your mother said the bottle was stowed in her room, but I found it shattered in the dining area near where the murder happened. He was holding it when he died. That means he retrieved it after your argument. So? So, why would he have your gift if he was still angry at you? No, why would he have it? It's because he loved you, Celeste. He knew he lost his temper and hurt you. So he was going to use that gift to apologize to you. What? I still don't like this. My daughter, working as a mercenary of all things. Come on, Dad. You know I can handle myself out there. You shouldn't have to. They closed the inn. If I didn't do this, we wouldn't have made it through the last few winters. I know you're worried, but I can do this. No one can ever beat me in a fight. Just be careful. I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to you. Don't worry. Just let me do this for you. You and Mom both took me in. You took care of me for my entire life. I know I'm not really your daughter, but... Oh, he did not like hearing that. Why would you say something like that? I'm sorry. I didn't mean... Did those idiots in the town say that? Tell me who. I'll go knock them out right now. Dad, no one said that. It's just... You're a McCoy. You've always been a McCoy. You're our daughter. I won't let anyone say otherwise, especially you. Okay. Thanks, Dad. I love you. I love you too. Armor, stop saying something as fact without it verifying if it is fact. How could I ever think that? She trailed off. She had barely been keeping it together throughout the whole argument, but her voice began to break, and she broke along with it. She paused for a moment, trembling. Then she slowly fell against me. She gripped me tightly, everything from the last few days finally crashing down on her. I was sure I was the last person she wanted to comfort her, but I was the only one there. She had held back her grief for this long. She was strong, much stronger than I had been. You were also a child when you lost your parents. She's 19. 18? 19. You were 10. I hesitated, unsure of how to respond. I just held her as her quiet sobs echoed softly throughout the cell. Celeste, I'm sorry, but please don't talk right now. I did as she asked. I wasn't sure if it was enough, but I held her tightly. I mean, if it helps you make money, you're not like taking on like super awful jobs, go for it. Be mercenaries. Who am I to stop you and when the economy is this bad? Are you feeling better? Yeah. Thanks. She wiped her eyes. They were still red. But she smiled at me, and it wasn't forced this time. Do you need water? What? I figured you lost fluids, and I thought you might be dehydrated. Tyrion, you awkward baby. What was I saying? Celeste snorted at a laugh. I felt silly, but something about seeing her laugh left me flustered. Tyrion, is everything really going to be okay? It will be. I'll get you that acquittal no matter what. Man, king, or god? Yes, man, king, or god. She giggled to herself. Anyways, you should rest. The trial is going to resume soon. I learned as much as I could about what happened, but I had to assume that Steel Wind had done the same. Who knew what the prosecution had in store for us? I just had to hope that I'd stack the board in my favor. Armor! Has Pierce given you all the details, Rudolph? Will you remember them? Yes, my notes are pristine, and I pride myself on my eidetic memory. Just so there are no misunderstandings, I do not approve of this. You said it yourself, Lady Steelwind. The evidence proves that I couldn't have murdered Flintheart, which leaves the bastard child as the only suspect. Why were you in the... Okay, so currently, no one was thinking you were the murderer. Well, I guess since you have tried... I'll see how they play it. We don't know what sort of tricks Timora's stooge may pull tomorrow. Just see this as a way of securing a just verdict. There'll be no need for your father to intervene. She very much does not like this. Hi, Miss Timora. Cuthbert. How did the investigation go? I feel unprepared at the very least. I don't know exactly what happened, but I have a clearer picture of the crime scene. What did you find out? As we fade to black, we don't get to hear his actual explanation. So, there are still no clues directly pointing to another suspect. Have you been able to coax any new details from McCoy? She's already told me everything she knows. She's not the one who killed Flintheart, Miss Timora. I'm sure of that now. You trust people far too easily, Cuthbert. You say that like it's a bad thing. It's going to get you hurt one of these days. People are never as innocent as they appear. Does that include you? What? Commander White had a lot of things to say about you. Should I have listened to him? What are you trying to say? I'm saying that I have never believed the rumors about you. Not for a second. You saved me when I had nothing, and taught me how to fight against the nobility. Everyone told me that you were a criminal. I wouldn't be here right now if I listened to them. Cuthbert. I'm not going to stop trying to see the best in people. Celeste is innocent, and I'll prove that to everyone, including you. You really can be stubborn sometimes. You know that? I get it from you. That seemed to get a chuckle out of her. I wish I could see the world the way you do, Cuthbert, but the truth isn't always what you want it to be. I know, but I'm not going to let that change me. I took a deep breath, and readied myself. I was approaching the endgame now. All I had to do was move the final pieces into place and end this once and for all. The bailiff led Celeste in the courtroom, and I followed closely behind them. Let's get this started.
Order!
I still can get over that, your boys. Court is now resumed for the trial of Celeste McCoy. Let us review the proceedings from yesterday. The defense presented some unfortunate oversights made during the investigation. I personally saw to it that the crime scene was thoroughly inspected this time. I see. I suppose it puts my mind at ease, if nothing else. At yesterday's trial, we found an inconsistency between the crime scene photo and the autopsy report. Because of this, the defense argued that a third party must have interfered with the crime scene to frame their defendant. To clear any doubts you may have, the individual who discovered the body has decided to testify today. Really? It was my understanding that they wanted to remain anonymous. This still doesn't sound right. Am I saying that right? The witness in question was within the gallery of the trial yesterday. After yesterday's proceedings, he felt that he couldn't stay silent any longer. Very well. Let's hear from this witness. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. My name is Reginald Rudolph. I am a chauffeur. Is he allowed to be taking notes? Rudolph appeared to be writing something in a notebook. His pen glided across the page, filling line after line within seconds. Mr. Rudolph? Ah, forgive me. I was merely recording everyone present in this room. You're taking notes? I always keep clear and detailed records of my actions every day. I found that ordering the present naturally brings order to the future. What? I look so annoyed. With such detailed records, your testimony about the defendant must be thorough indeed. Actually, I witnessed much more than just the defendant. I saw the crime as it was being committed, and I wrote down everything that I witnessed. What? If what you're saying is true, why have you waited until now to testify? We had initially concluded that the evidence alone was decisive enough. We saw no need for Rudolph to testify. However, that clearly changed after yesterday's trial. There was no way the prosecution wouldn't use eyewitness testimony from the start. There had to be another reason why he didn't take the stand yesterday. Very well. Mr. Rudolph, please testify to the court about what you saw that night. What? I still don't understand why he's looking up. I was transporting a client in my carriage that evening. We were driving by the McCoy Tavern when we heard a disturbance. This occurred at 1:08 a.m. I would still very much like to know how they know the time. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, there are clocks, but are, like, there portable clocks that tell you the time? Because I am confused on how, like, they have it so accurate. Worried that something was amiss, I walked into the establishment to see what the commotion was about. That was when I saw the defendant, lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights. Oh? Oh? She had stabbed Flintheart, and her sword was shining with magical energy. She pulled her sword from Flintheart's back. As I turned to face her, she stabbed him again in his chest. She soon realized I had witnessed her heinous crime. She dropped her weapon, still impaled in Flintheart, and fled the scene. Incredible! It everything occurred as what is described, and then I see no room for debate. Of course. The evidence has always been irrefutable. I didn't remember seeing another carriage when I left to look for Celeste. But it was pretty dark. I could have just missed him. Celeste, did you see him when you left the tavern? No. I don't think I've ever even met him before. Does that mean what I think it means? We shouldn't jump to conclusions. But if he testified that he saw you, he's clearly lying. I just needed to find out why. The defense may now begin their cross-examination. It's a very, very pretty music. I know where to go for this.
Objection!
Rudolph, you testified that you saw my client murdering the victim. And you supposedly saw her casting magic while doing so? Yes. I can never forget such a grisly sight. That moment was burned into my memory. Hey, I think, isn't this the start of the chapter? I see. Well, it's funny that you say that. What makes you say that? Because your entire testimony was a complete lie. What? Are you accusing the witness of perjury? Surely you know that such accusations can't be made lightly, Mr. Cuthbert. Miss Steelwind, the dining room lights are artificial devices that are powered by an arcane power cell. However, that same arcane power cell was broken during the time of the murder. Those lights had no energy, and the room would have been pitch black. The witness couldn't have seen anything, much less a homicide. Wait, I can explain. There's no need, witness. You could have easily seen another source of light. McCoy's probably lit a candle or lantern because of the blackout. The witness clearly described a source of blue light. A rudimentary candle or lantern wouldn't emit a color like that. Then the witness was clearly mistaken. The witness records everything he sees in his notebook. He even remembers the exact time that this encounter occurred. So why would he be incorrect about such a clear and obvious detail? No, what the witness saw was some form of magic. Due to the lack of power, it couldn't have been the artificery. It must have been an arcane spell. That's it. Witness? I was mistaken about something. Please allow me to revise my testimony. Mr. Cuthbert, what are your thoughts? If he thinks he saw something different, then it's only fair to hear him out. It didn't matter. No matter what he came up with, I'd tear through each of his lies. Yeah, I know, but how would he see the clock if it was dark? I remember now. Yesterday, they said that Flintheart was killed using magic, yes? What do you mean yesterday that it was said? You just said that you saw her using it. I must have seen Miss McCoy channeling a magic spell. The spell was called a Mage Blade, wasn't it? That's it. The blue glow that I saw was created by Mage Blade. Does it say what? No. I see. So the blue light that you saw came from the defendant's magic. Even she knows it's wrong. She's like, it's wrong, but isn't my job to prove it. Mr. Cuthbert, you may proceed with your cross-examination. With pleasure, because I know exactly where I'm going.
Objection!
Why is this seemingly easier than the first part of this trial? I think I struggled a little more with this. Like, I didn't immediately know. Rudolph, you don't know much about magic, do you? Of course not. Are you trying to say that I should have recognized Celeste's Mage Blade? No, I admit that you probably wouldn't know what Mage Blade looks like. But that's exactly where you made your mistake. My mistake? Rudolph, if you were aware of how Mage Blade works, then you would know that the spell emits a yellow radiant light, radiant glow. Which means the blue glow you saw couldn't have possibly been Mage Blade. This is ridiculous. What's the significance of seeing a blue glow instead of a yellow one? It's extremely significant, prosecutor. If the witness saw a blue magical glow, then he must have witnessed a different spell at the scene. Preposterous! You don't have any evidence to support that claim. That blue light made a large impression on the witness. He wrote it down in his notebook. He even mentioned the color in both of his testimonies. I find it hard to believe that he'd be mistaken about something like that. So, what did you see, Mr. Rudolph? Did you see my client at the scene casting a spell that she couldn't possibly cast? Or did you actually see another mage at the scene? Well... Objection! Your Honor, the defense is completely out of line. Let me remind you that perjury is a crime, Rudolph. If you are found to have lied in your testimony, I will personally see to it that you're prosecuted. No, wait. Now that is quite enough of that. He's getting himself involved. He's gonna make this easy for me. You weren't even on my radar. Garrick Pierce had stood up from within the gallery and walked to the witness stand, shoving Rudolph out of his way. He'd broken several laws with that one act alone, but no one moved to stop him. The bailiff looked at the judge warily and awaited instruction. The judge said nothing. His eyes simply narrowed as he waited for Pierce's next move. Pierce, there is no need for you to take the stand. Nonsense. I have nothing to hide. I will not stand idly by while your case falls apart. It seemed for the first time the prosecutor had lost control of the room. Has she ever had control of it? What is the meaning of this, Miss Steelwind? This is Garrick Pierce, Your Honor. I am the Honorable Lord of Cornhaven and many other villages in that region. I am afraid I must apologize. These misunderstandings have been entirely my fault. What do you mean, Lord Pierce? You see, Rudolph was not the one who witnessed the crime that fateful night. It was me. I was the one who saw that gruesome attack. I had my driver report the body so that I could remain anonymous. I swear that sounds wrong when I'm saying it. I need to look up how that's said later. Are you saying that you had Rudolph lie for you? I simply dictated to him what I saw and had him repeat that to law enforcement. With what's been in the news lately, it simply wouldn't do for a member of the nobility to appear publicly in court. But alas, it appears the time for discretion has passed. Lord Pierce, regardless of your good intentions, this is a very clear act of perjury. I understand, and I will accept the consequences of that. However, I would be remiss if Rudolph's shoddy testimony allowed that girl to escape justice. Please, Your Honor, allow me to testify as to what I saw that night. Very well. This is highly irregular, but I do believe the court will benefit from your testimony. However, I know that this misconduct will not be without consequences. Very well. From the look on the Lord's face, it was clear that he would only get off with a slap on the wrist. Give me a second. I just thought of something I wanted to check. Okay. So she did. It did say. Okay. Pussy is not rated for carrier operation. What does that mean? Like a postal box? Water. My bottle made such a loud sound. Oh. Well, good. Of course I'm not. I don't like flying. I really shouldn't. I get lost so easily. On the night of the murder, I found myself unable to sleep. So, I took a leisurely carriage ride around Cornhaven. I happened to be passing by the McCoy Tavern when I heard a loud commotion from within the building. Curious, I stopped my carriage and took a single step inside the establishment. That is when I saw the scene inside. I saw the defendant stabbing that poor man with her sword. Garrick Pierce. He's a member of the nobility. That also means that he's a mage. Does that mean... There's no doubt about it. He's the only other person who could have left those traces of transmutation at this crime scene. He has to be the mage that we're looking for. He killed my dad. He's a murderer. Sorry. This must be a lot for you right now. Don't worry about me. Just take him down. Flying makes me like super motion sick. I also don't like having my feet off the ground. I mean, I probably could play a flight sim, but like physically flying, way too much motion sickness. I'm good. Why is this in my evidence? Now that I think about it. This isn't a clue, this is just how I got into her room. Press? That seems like a strange way to pass the time. Not that I believed him for a second. The witness's eccentricities are beside the point. What matters is that he was clearly at the scene. I wouldn't quite put it that way, however. I'm guessing this commotion was the argument between my client and the victim. One word would conclude that. Yes. We've gone so far, we've gone to this point several times, but the voices were raised loudly during their argument. It's not unreasonable to say that the witness heard them from his carriage. If he was at the tavern entrance, then that would mean he would be where the W token is. If you saw the... I just can't see their faces. Awesome. Love that. You saw the entire scene from the entrance? That's 5, 10, 15, 20. There's 20 feet between them. 25 or 30 if you're counting the tokens. It would be quite dark considering the lights were operational, even if my client was using Mage Blade at the time. Ah, of course. I'd forgotten that detail. I couldn't see what was happening, so I used my magic to illuminate the scene. You used magic at the crime scene? Yes. I remember it clearly. I conjured a blue light to illuminate the scene. That same blue light must have been what my driver saw. I thought that Rudolph didn't witness the crime at all. If I had to guess, Mr. Rudolph must have seen the blue light from the carriage. Because of that, he made the detail of that detail a part of his testimony earlier. That made sense. Rudolph was so sure that he saw a blue light. It would have been strange if he were lying about that. Which spell did you use to illuminate the crime scene? It was the Conjure Light spell. More D&D! Conjure Light, School, Transmutation, Incantation, Luxo. Gesture, none. Duration, while concentrating. Concentration, yes. For as long as the caster concentrates on the spell, a mote of magical light will be centered above their head. The color of the light is chosen by the caster and can be changed at will for the spell's duration. This mote of light provides illumination up to 15 feet of the caster and no further. Even not counting where the tokens were, that's still 4 squares, so 20 feet. And you're at the entrance. Your Honor, if the witness used magic at the crime scene, then I'd like for his spell compendium to be added to the court record. I see no reason to invade the witness's privacy over a trivial illumination spell. I agree. The defense would need a stronger reason for requisition to requisition the witness's spell compendium. Right you are, Your Honor. Your wisdom is truly fitting of your station. Oh, shut up. I have a reason.
Objection!
Pierce, you said that you illuminated the crime scene from the tavern entrance. Did you take a single step inside the building? Of course not. I remember it very clearly. I only stood at the entrance. Then maybe you can help me go over this map of the tavern. If I take a look at this map, that would place you right here where the W is. Of course. Do I need to repeat myself? Well, I find it interesting that you eliminated the crime scene from all the way back there. Considering that Conjure Light only illuminates an area within 15 feet of the caster. What? Pierce, Conjure Light doesn't behave like a normal light source. It only provides illumination up to 15 feet of the caster. If you had stayed at the entrance, your spell wouldn't have shown you anything.
Objection!
The spell's range is irrelevant. We've already established that the victim would have been illuminated by Mage Blade. The witness clearly stated that he couldn't see what was happening. That was why he cast Conjure Light in the first place. But what does this mean? Lord Pierce, did you illuminate the crime scene or not? Well, did the screen kind of shrink for a moment there? Did I? What? Well, I can answer that question for you, Your Honor. The witness did illuminate the scene of the crime. He illuminated it because he was standing right where it happened. Mr. Cuthbert, what are you getting at? Your Honor, the defense would like to formally accuse Garrick Pierce of murdering Flintheart McCoy. Hold on a moment. This is absurd. I could have easily used a different spell to illuminate the room. And which spell would that be, Pierce? This specific spell escapes me. I'm not sure which one I used now that I think about it. You idiots. Arya is just like, I am so done with this. Well, maybe we can figure it out together. When you relinquish your spell compendium to the court. Steelwind, say something! If you had listened to my instructions, you wouldn't be in this situation. You've made your bed, now lie. I think I love her! Steelwind, you treacherous!
Order!
Wait, you magic? I mean... potion sickness. I don't know? I don't use magic. I use key. So... That's enough. It appears that the prosecution has no objections. With everything that has occurred, I'm afraid I must ask Lord Pierce to relinquish his spell compendium to the court. Garrick Pierce's spell compendium. It contains the formulas for the following spells: Prestidigitation, Conjure Light, Conjure Water, Frost Wave, and Shape Liquid. I feel like Shape Liquid is going to be the one that we need. And not just because I don't know what that first one is. We did it! We got a spell compendium! With that, the case is as good as ours. Or was it? She didn't even try to stop me from taking a spell compendium. I doubted she'd do that just to spite Pierce. Evocation, assemble the fingers while concentrating. Yes. The caster creates a simple and harmless visual effect around their hand. This effect will last as long as they maintain. Okay. Conjure water. Akuyo, I think. Outstretched palm, duration indefinitely, concentration, yes, okay. Causes water to magically flow out of the caster's hand. This water will flow so long as the caster maintains concentration on the spell. Frost wave. Outstretch both hands, instant, and no. Anything caught within range is hit with a blast of extremely cold air. Liquids hit will be immediately frozen, and organic life will immediately enter stages of hypothermia. Shape liquid. Figagua, I think. I have no idea. Snap finger at the target while concentrating. Yes. While concentrating on the spell, the caster can magically manipulate up to 10 liters of liquid and form it into complex shapes. At any time, the caster can choose to freeze the liquid and solidify its current shape. While frozen, the caster can also choose to make the liquid instantaneously melt. Yep, okay, so that is the one that I need. Your Honor, I've looked at the spells in Lord Pierce's compendium. Conjure Light is the only spell that he can cast that would shed a blue light. It's clear that his testimony and many of his statements were false. This little brat! Such insolence! Lord Pierce could very well be a suspect in the murder of Flintheart McCoy. I'd argue that this presents enough reasonable doubt to acquit the defendant. Mr. Cuthbert, I acknowledge that Lord Pierce's actions are quite suspect. However, I will not pass a verdict just yet. There is much more we need to learn. What? That's not how it works. We proved there was reasonable doubt. That should be enough to acquit me, right? In a normal case, maybe, but the situation is different for this trial. The public won't accept an unsolved homicide involving magic. Unless we can unequivocally prove your innocence, the court will keep drawing things out. What? But that's not fair. That's just how our system works. The kingdom has always cared more about easing public tension than delivering justice. Are you serious? The court will be suspending the trial of Celeste McCoy until further notice. We have no choice but to give the Inquisition time to investigate Lord Pierce as a possible suspect.
Objection!
What? Why are you objecting? You even scared him! A possible suspect. The idea of that is preposterous, Your Honor. What else did she have up her sleeve? Let's revisit the basic facts of this case. Flintheart McCoy was... I went so much higher there? Flintheart McCoy was murdered by using a blade with a transmutation spell active on it. Mr. Cuthbert, why don't you tell me the spells that Lord Pierce knows? His spells are Prestidigitation, Conjure Light, Conjure Water, Frost Wave, and Shape Liquid. Wait a minute. You've realized it too, haven't you? The witness doesn't know any transmutation spells that can be channeled through a solid object. That can't be right. Why are you surprised? What is with... He's giving himself away and no one cares. Oh, that's hot. Fuck. Ha! You're right. You're absolutely right, Steelwind. I see. If all of that is true, that would leave the defendant as the only possible killer. But he was the only other mage there. It has to be him. But he doesn't know any transmutation spells that can cast on your sword. You can't prove that he stabbed him while using magic. Oh wait, how did he do it then? She was right. How did he do it? Since the beginning, I have been bothered by the traces of transmutation magic surrounding Flintheart's body. Originally, I thought the killer had somehow magically altered the sword and the surrounding wooden floor. But none of Chris's spells could do something like that. Those transmutation traces were scattered all over the place. They didn't even cover the full sword. So what if he didn't use a sword? What if he used something else?
Order!
Welcome back, Kenny. The defense did cast some doubt on this witness's testimony. Nevertheless, I must conclude that he could not have possibly committed the murder. He could have! With that in mind, please wait, Your Honor. We still can't rule out Pierce as a suspect just yet. What are you on about? Lady Steelwind said it herself. None of my spells can be used to stab Flintheart. I don't know any spells that can be channeled through a blade. But you didn't use a metal blade, did you? What nonsense is this? The autopsy report clearly states that the wound was created by a blade. If he didn't channel magic through a blade, how could he have possibly committed the crime? Steelwind, Garrick Pierce didn't kill the victim using a sword. He killed him using an object shaped exactly like a sword. No. Does he know the truth? What? I'm afraid I don't quite understand, Mr. Cuthbert. Your Honor, I'd like to bring your attention to Pierce's spell compendium. Garrick Pierce knows a seemingly insignificant spell called Shape Liquid. With it, he can control any liquid and mold it into any complex shape he wants. He can even freeze it, locking that shape in place. If he had enough water, he could create a sword made purely out of ice. No. Is it possible that he... What do you have to say for yourself, Lord Pierce? This stubborn little brat. Pierce's breathing became frantic. He clearly wasn't prepared to be backed into a corner like this. I could feel his frustration, stress, and fear emanating through the eye of Horace. The board was set, I just had to deliver the final blow. I'll tell you exactly what I have to say, you commoner. I am not the one on trial here. We're here because that bastard child didn't know her place. I saw the murder, I witnessed everything. That girl used our holy arts to murder her father because she lacked a noble's temperament. You mean this temperament? The one that has you acting like a child? I'm a little upset I can't save. I saw the murder, I witnessed everything. Okay. I feel like there's a few things I could probably present here, but I know only one of them is correct. I could present this because the lights weren't working. I could present this. Nope, it only shows the victim. I could show this, but I'm not sure which it would be. Because if I present this, if I present Conjure Light, that he saw it, or like, they all have the same effect. He couldn't have seen it. One, because the lights were broken, so couldn't have seen it if he stood where he was. The same with the map, it shows where the victim was, and then he said that he was at the entrance, so he couldn't have seen it with the lights broken. But again, if he was at the entrance and he had conjured the light, he wouldn't have seen it from the entrance. So, like, I feel like all of them would work. The only issue is I'm not entirely sure which one it would be. I think I want to sneeze. Oh, which one would make more sense? I feel like they could all work, which is kind of the issue here. Okay, so he said that he's... Like, with these, these have the same issue of where he was standing and there being no light. And he did say... Oh boy. The only one that's slightly different is one where it does provide light. So do I just go with that one? Because the others don't provide the light of what he was seeing, supposedly. And Conjure, Illuminate... What do you call it? Conjure Light did provide said light, so... I retract what I said earlier about the second part of this being easy. I lied. Okay, there's only difference between you and the other two is that you have light. So you... And how, pray tell, did you see everything? If you recall, you suspect that you only took a single step inside the inn. However, you would have needed to be within 15 feet to see my client with conjure light. Oh, thank fuck. Reasoning! It sometimes works. Just again. If you're going to keep treading on that one detail, then I admit it. I slipped further into the inn. I kept that out of my testimony. All because I knew that you and Tamora would use it against me. Lord Pierce! Hey, Hydra, how are you? But you just withhold that detail from your testimony. You didn't just withhold that detail from your testimony, did you? You testified the contrary. You committed perjury, Pierce. Plain and simple. And let's not stop there. For your story to be true, you would have needed to be within 15 feet of my client. According to your testimony, my client had just finished murdering her father. Wouldn't she have noticed you? If you were that close, then surely you were close enough to apprehend her. So why didn't you? Don't you have a duty to your citizens you lord over? Shut your filthy mouth! That woman was armed! I had no reason to put my life in danger. She was holding a blood-soaked sword. I was terrified when I saw her holding that bloody sword. She just murdered a man, and I might have very well been next. Okay, so, like, it's in the body. Would this be it? But it shows that it, like, she wasn't holding it. If she had just finished... Yes? Yes. Okay, it kind of makes sense. No, I am confident. I'm confident. I'm going with it. But that can't be right, can it, Lord Pierce? This photo of the crime scene shows that the sword is left inside the victim's body. How could she still be wielding it if it never left the body? What? Damn you! Damn you! Stillwind, why aren't you saying anything? What? He's trying to bring the girl who was at least 20 years his junior into this because he's pouting like a child who got caught in his hand in the cookie and the very murderous cookie jar. Stillwind froze. Even when I had the advantage, she always maintained her usual poise. Is that usual poise? She looks panicked. But now she was scrambling for something to say. Nothing came to her. Thank you for the hate drink, Hydra. Lord Pierce, please calm down. How can I remain calm when this charlatan is trying to frame me? This is a complete travesty. I came to reveal the truth and testify against a criminal. And what do I get instead? Slander from some lowly peasant. You talk about justice, but you've committed several acts of perjury to twist the outcome of this trial. You don't care about justice. You're just here to cover up your own crime. You filthy little... So, admit it, Pierce. You created a makeshift sword with shaped liquid and used it to impale Flintheart. Okay, is this where the bottle is gonna come up? You shoved my client's sword into the wound while the remnants of the real murder weapon melted. You thought it was a perfect crime, didn't you? Wait, what did he just say? What? She's got a good... I love her. I think I love her. Lord Pierce? My apologies, Your Honor. It's just I realized something absolutely hilarious. The defense has put forward an interesting theory, but there's one problem with it. And what's that? I think you said it yourself. You shoved my client's sword into the wound while the remnants of the real murder weapon melted. You thought it was a perfect crime, didn't you? You're right. It would have been a perfect crime. Because any evidence to support that theory would have evaporated with that melted blade. What? No! He was right. Magical traces don't spread throughout physical contact. They are only detected on the objects they are cast on. If you used a blade of water to kill Flintheart, all the water he used to make that sword would have evaporated by now. That would mean, oh my god, think, my guy! There would be nothing left of the murder weapon. You've spun quite the tale here today, but in the end, you don't have a shred of evidence to support it, do you? I do! Oh, wait a minute! I do, though! You have nothing! Isn't there anything we can do? I became quiet, thinking through every piece of evidence I found. They all fit into place except for one piece. Tyrion? Why isn't he saying anything? Is it really hopeless? Any worries she had disappeared. She probably saw the look on my face. It was familiar to her. It expressed the same quiet certainty that I had every time I defeated her. I wasn't sure how, but there was something left of the murder weapon. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been any traces of the transmutation at the crime scene. What is this? You can glare at me all you want. It won't change the fact that you've lost. I despise people like you. You twist this kingdom's laws to serve your own ends. You trample on the lives of the people you're supposed to be serving and protecting. But as long as I'm standing in this courtroom, I will never let that happen again.
Naught can remain concealed.
The fuck? Ugh, what did I just do? I could feel my head being dragged to the ground. It felt like it was about to burst. At the same time, I felt an extreme sense of clarity. It was as if nothing could be concealed from the eye of Horus now. I could believe that peasant. He pushed me this far. Once again, I saw Pierce's thoughts, but the sensation felt sharper than it usually was. I could feel his mind reacting to mine, as if it were a pond rippling around me as I stepped through it. I wondered, could I reach further in and pull something I could use? The fuck? You've activated a new ability through the Eye of Horus. You can temporarily project items into the witness's mind and read their thoughts about it. These thoughts can sometimes reveal new information and grant you insight. Feel the insight gauge to proceed. Why is this so complicated? After all the trouble I went to, I can't believe that boy figured out which spell I used. Well, no matter. It's not as if there is any evidence that implicates me. I'm lucky that old fool had that bottle of water with him. Okay, so I just have to pick the one thing? I kind of wish I had experimented more and seen what happens if I use something different. Oh well. Oh, live and learn later, I guess. Yay. Oh no. A bottle of water. Well then, as riveting as this has been, I think it's time for me to be on my way. Now wait a minute, Pierce. What is it now, you cretin? I'll say it as many times as you need to hear. There is no evidence of a liquefied weapon at the crime scene. You're right, Pierce. If you used shaped liquid on a body of water, the murder weapon would have evaporated entirely. Bravo. It seems you finally got on that fact through your thick head. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, Pierce. What if you didn't use shaped liquid on a body of water? What if it were another type of liquid? Well, what are you going on about? Pierce, shaped liquid doesn't just work on water. It works on all kinds of liquids. There was a shattered bottle next to the body. The liquid you used to form the murder weapon. It came from that bottle, didn't it? Ugh. You were probably wary of leaving evidence at the crime scene. You must have decided to use any liquid you could find there. Luckily for you, the victim was holding the perfect quantity of liquid in his hands. That begs the question. If we had someone analyze the broken pieces of this bottle, would we find traces of transmutation magic? Do you think you can bluff me? We've already established that any water I supposedly shaped would have evaporated. Except the liquid contained in this bottle wasn't water. It was tea. So, what difference does that make? A blade of ice made out of water would have evaporated entirely. But a blade of frozen tea would leave a dried residue. The tea wouldn't completely disappear. No. I wondered why there was so many traces of transmutation scattered around the crime scene. When I felt the texture of the floor, I thought a transmutation spell had caused some sort of chemical reaction with the wood. But the real answer was a lot simpler than that. The transmutation spell didn't alter the floor at all. It was just a stain from the spilled tea. I bet if we compared the tea residue on the floor to the residue inside the bottle, we'd find traces of transmutation on them. There's your murder weapon, Pierce. Okay. Hello. You have nowhere left to go. That's checkmate. I love we got like a small glimpse. A small glimpse of him panicking, and that's it. That's all we got. Bailiff, send for Orm. The Inquisition needs to analyze the crime scene at once. We need to confirm the defense's theory. The time window to detect traces of magic is closing. I have the report from the Inquisition. What does it say? The traces on the sword, the body, even the floor. They all came from tea residue. We found those same traces on the shards of the broken bottle too. It's undeniable. Someone cast a spell on the liquid contained within that bottle, and the defendant has no such spell. You really did it, didn't you? Why? As if someone like you would ever understand. Understand? You murdered my dad. Murdered? Murdered! I murdered her. I can't believe it. She's dead. Her smile. Her beautiful voice. It's all gone. I deserve death. Stop this nonsense. Father, you're grieving, but it will pass. She was only a commoner. No, Father. I loved her, and I killed her. Garrett, you sweet innocent child. Flowers may be beautiful and bring you joy, but you call it murder when you accidentally step on one. These people, these peasants, they may resemble us, but you know deep down in your heart they aren't like us. What? We have the Scaled Lord's favor, and they do not. They were created to serve us, to be utilized by those of us who matter. Father, so don't fret over such a simple commoner. By next month, you'll have completely forgotten about that wretched thing. I have been so blind! She was a simple flower, nothing but a worthless peasant! They're all just peasants, all of them! Is it murder to protect my kingdom? Is it murder to kill weeds before they blight my land? That fool of a man was spreading poison, and I did my duty by removing him. You're a monster. I'm a nobleman, a chosen vessel of the Scaled Lord's will. You are all nothing. Do you honestly think you can indict me? My word carries more power than 100 of yours. Bailiff, escort Pierce to a holding cell. Steelwind? First-degree murder is punishable by execution, Lord Pierce. I suggest you remain silent, lest you incriminate yourself further. You can't be serious! You, of all people, must understand the position I was in! Your father knows what it takes to maintain order. If not for me, shut your insidious mouth. I will never understand your sick, disgusting mind. I'd sooner slit my own throat. Well, what are you waiting for? Take him away. Yes, take him away at once. I can't believe it. We actually won. Tyrion, I know, Celeste. Tyrion, teary-eyed, she threw her arms around me, embracing me tightly. I just stood there wide-eyed, looking toward the gallery members who were staring at us. I wasn't sure where to put my hands. That was remarkable. Miss Tamora, I'll be honest. When I realized that the murder weapon had evaporated, I thought that the case was over. You did a great job of turning that around. It was just luck. If you'd used water, things would have ended very differently. It had nothing to do with luck. Not this time. You were able to deduce which liquid he used, and you did it just by looking at a few shards of broken glass. I knew your deductive skills were good, but that was incredible. It wasn't just deduction, though. I did something with the Eye of Horus today, something I'd never done before. I had an amazing ability, but I was starting to realize that I knew next to nothing about it. If I wanted to use it effectively, I needed to learn more. You are all quite lively. Hey, let's not get into a pissing match, Ruby. She is the reason why the murderer is in a cell. So let's calm down a little bit. Yeah? There's no need for such hostility. Though, I wouldn't expect any less from the Hound of the Eye Taker. The what now? What does she mean by that? I glanced at Miss Tamora, but she avoided eye contact with me. It was subtle, but her posture stiffened, and her brow clenched ever so slightly. I couldn't see any flaws through the Eye of Horus. I must admit, I was hoping to test my mind against yours directly. However, your protégés appeared to be a worthy adversary. Is this some kind of game to you? You almost condemned an innocent girl to death. The courts operate by having two powers of opposition. When those powers are balanced, justice prevails, just like it did today. Your victory today was just a system working as intended. Huh! Working as intended. You know very well our system only exists to protect your people. You can act as sanctimonious as you want. That doesn't change the fact that every passing day, your father butchers more and more innocents. I know. But I'm not my father. I walk a different path. I know you have no reason to believe me, so I'll let my actions speak for me. I look forward to doing battle with you again, Tyrion Cuthbert. Steelwind, why did you arrest Pierce at the end of the trial? I don't understand. He was right in a way. You didn't need to do that. He openly admitted to first-degree murder. Why wouldn't I have him arrested? Never mind then. I'm also looking forward to facing you again. Good. I hope to see you soon. I still couldn't tell what she was thinking, even with the Eye of Horus. She definitely wasn't the bloodthirsty killer that her father was. Well, that was kind of killed the mood, didn't it? Not at all. I think we should celebrate. What are you thinking? There's this high-class restaurant in the upper quarter of Rathel. They usually only serve nobles, but they let anyone in if they have enough gold. Wait, do we have enough gold? I have some connections with the staff there. Don't worry about it. These past 2 days marked the beginning of my journey into the world of law and magic. Our justice system was broken, rotten from the inside, but I had a voice now. I would never stop fighting. With my skills in the Eye of Horus, I knew nothing could stop me. Or at least, that's what I hoped. This feeling, I knew it. Who the fuck is talking? His radiant soul is finally ripe for the Oh, is it that weird goddess person that he dreamed about? Even this small speck of time has felt like an eternity. I can't wait any longer. I can't wait to see that wretched light drain from his eyes. Or not. The fuck are you? William, please, I implore you. I know you're excited, but don't you think we're moving far too quickly? Lloyd von Sanctius, occupation Duke. He is 45 years old. The head of House von Sanctius and the Duke of Commerce. His noble house is one of the 4 pillar families. His family is responsible for managing trade and commerce throughout Wyverngard. Nonsense. Everything has been going according to plan. William Frege, Duke 62. The head of House Frege and the Duke of Finance. His noble house is one of the 4 pillar families and responsible for tax collection and the exchange of resources. House Frege owns and controls every banking house in Wyverngard. Oh, because that's not dangerous or anything. Lloyd von Sanctius shifts nervously, his rat-like posture practically shuddering. William Frege, on the other hand, only seemed bothered by Lloyd's incessant chittering. They both held the status of Duke, but only William wore it rather than the other way around. I have advocated for the Arcurians more than anyone else, but I haven't had enough time to look into them. The Arcurians are an efficient yet simple folk. The only thing they care about is filling their coffers, and I'm quite proficient in that language. And what of the Grand General? Who do you think pays for all of his soldiers? You may be able to get to the ground forces, but his extended family is something else entirely. If you threaten them like this, they will respond in kind. Loyalty can be bought, the same as any other commodity. Every house has a weak link. It's only a matter of time before I find his. William! Enough! This meeting is an opportunity for us to pull the Minister of Justice to our side. Hello? I will not squander it. We will take Wyverngard from Lucio today. Grow a spine while you're at it. You're a duke, for crying out loud. Lloyd just exhaled deeply as he followed William to the meeting room. Oh, they've arrived. Coraline Sybil, Duchess 38. The head of House Sybil and the Minister of Justice. Her noble house is one of the 4 pillar families and is one of the most powerful of them. Her family has managed the judicial and legislative branches of Wyverngard's government for generations. See, you're nothing to worry about, Your Grace. It seems that the Minister of Justice and the High Speaker had already arrived. Coraline Sybil and Theon Arceus were the most powerful people in this room, in theory. They represented the justice system and the church respectively, but both of their heads were always in the clouds. Their dispositions made them more akin to cattle that could be distracted and coaxed with shiny trinkets. Coraline was always ruminating about fate and the cosmos. She had often confused astrology with philosophy. I don't think she's a good fit for the head of justice, then. Maybe. You know. Theon was blinded by his obsession with the Scaled Lord and his stories. William was almost certain that his noble house had written half of those stories. Ah, I was worried that something had befallen your convoy. I've been praying to the Scaled Lord for your safety. Theon Arceus, High Speaker 81. Oh, I think he's the oldest so far. The devout leader of the Church of Bahamut. Bahamut, okay. So it is a dragon. I don't think I've met anyone who reveres the Scaled Lord as much as he does. You two are late. Remus Virgile. Virgile. Royal Advisor, how do we not know his age? A mysterious lord who appears to be close to the royal family. Apparently, he's the royal advisor to the Wyverngard. I wonder why I've never heard of him before. From the looks of it, we're not the only ones. Could the Grand General not be arsed to show up? It's because of his foolishness that we've gathered. That's not entirely true. Oh, really? And what of his recent bloodbath in the countryside? Word on the grapevine says that his men toss a clergyman from the top of a bell tower. That the man is so bloodthirsty, we should check his pantry for the children he slaughtered. William! We have assembled here to discuss the lack of unity between the 4 pillars. Unity? Spare me. House Freyja, House Von Sanctius, and House Sybil are closer than they've ever been. The Steelwinds are the odd one out. Unity requires trust, and he has done nothing but spill the blood of the people we've trusted him to protect. His recent actions have been excessive. No one here is disputing that. My dear Duchess, his excess has merchants refusing to move caravans through the countryside. The commoners are crying for justice and turning to insurrection. Something that the Grand General is supposed to be putting a stop to. The other nations? Jesus Christ. The other nations whisper about us like we're a barbarian state dressed in fancy robes. Trade has slowed. The Scaled Lord teaches that prosperity is a covenant between every man and Wyverngard. House Steelwind carries the burden of protecting Wyverngard's borders. As mishandled as these situations have been, he's not massacring these villagers for his own amusement. He could have fooled me. A leader who wins respect and loyalty. He doesn't hold his people hostage. Mark my words, if this bloodshed continues, the commoners will revolt. These recent insurrections are just the start, and this will only continue if we allow Lucio's daughter to take the throne. If we're discussing Lady Steelman's marriage to the Crown Prince, surely he should be a part of this meeting as well. Please, what can that bright-eyed boy contribute to this conversation? The only thing he's good for is holding fundraisers and cutting red ribbons. William, he's the heir to the throne. Come now, the true rulers of Weimengard are all assembled in this room. I'll admit, the House of Lords has received more petitions against Lucio than any other general in Weimengard's history. The church has also been unable to collect as many tithes as before. Even the most faithful are asking whether the Scale Lord would support such cruelty. Their faith is faltering. This cannot be allowed to continue. That sounds like a whole army. Oh, look who finally decided to show up. Because it is a whole army. I know I'm late. I was caught in a debrief. I find this gathering to be pointless anyway. How dare you, Grand General? Have you no sense of respect? What use would respect be to the ones who can't command it? Will you demand my respect, Master of Operation? Well, Leave him alone, Lucio. We were just discussing your recent catastrophe in the countryside. From what I've heard, the death toll has been astronomical. Did you beat your record? If you have something to say, then say it plainly, Frege. House Frege would like to move to have the Steelwinds stripped of their authority and control of Weimengard's military. Lloyd, Coraline, and the church agree with me on this matter. Is that so? We of House von Sanctius stand with House Frege on this matter. I am sorry, Lucio, but it's difficult to argue against what the reports have been saying. His axe is terrifying to look at. Is that just me? It's terrifying. I don't like it. I feel like it's staring at me. I will bring this matter to the House of Lords. We'll hold a vote. Then the House of Lords should know what my agents have discovered. The Eastern Kingdoms have joined the Union. What? Surely this can't be true. It is. I'm sure the Ordo Australis will be announcing it publicly within the week. Weimengard is now the only nation in the world that hasn't joined their alliance. Correct. The only thing acting as a deterrent to our enemies is the high evocation magic of House Steelwind. Do you think that House of Lords will be willing to oust the most powerful war mages from our ranks? Lucio. Now, if you're done gnashing your teeth, William, I have to meet with the rest of my house. We'll need to prepare in case the Luminites become bold enough to bring war to the western border. Lucio, wait. Damn it all! Since when were those Orientals so friendly with the Ordo Australis? I can't believe the Luminites would suffer the company of those mud-eating savages. Actually, their culture is very rich. I, for one, quite enjoy many of their— Shut up, Lloyd! We'll need to expedite our plans. What? Get the Archeans on the line. I will have a word with them. You have business with the Arceus? We're brokering a trade deal. I'm sure the House of Lords will be seeing it soon. It seems the Cosmos are in our favor then. They're the only ally we had left. Stay safe, Coraline. You too, Lloyd. What is happening? Please tell me these stories aren't true. Lucio, you already know the answer, Your Grace. How could you? I thought you never got involved in the matters of the state. People are dying, Lucio. Children are dying under your watch. Do you truly think me capable of such atrocities, Your Grace? If you do, then strike me down now. You have the power to do so. You know I won't do that, Lucio. Then stay out of my way. What has become of all of you? Pierce, you have a visitor. Huh. Steel one's brat again. I'm in no mood for another sanctimonious lecture. Gary? Jolene? Huh. Time has not been kind to you. Excuse you? I'll have you know that I still get mistaken for 20 everywhere I go. Huh. I suppose some things never change. Let's get on with it, then. What? Go on. Yell at me. Curse at me. I doubt anyone would lift a finger if you opened this cell and beat me half to death. So, do it. I forgive you. What? I forgive you for killing my husband, Garrick. Have you lost your mind? Do you think I feel any remorse? Do you think I'm still that weak child? I just don't have the energy for it. I saw what that resentment did to my husband. It festered inside of him like an infection. I'm the only family Celeste has left. If only you knew where she really came from. I don't need to. She's reckless, stubborn, and a little spoiled, too. She takes after me in a lot of ways, and she takes a little too much after her father. But she's a good person. She's the kindest person I've ever known, and I'm proud to call her my daughter. Then you're a fool. Gary, Finhart didn't blame you for what happened to Effie. That's a lie. All he ever did was blame me. He didn't blame you until you shut yourself away in your manor. We were all in so much pain after what happened, and you abandoned us. And you expect me to apologize for that? Effie always loved that spell. What? Do you remember how she danced in the lake while you shaped water around her feet? She thought that spell was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. That person died a long time ago. Effie or you? You're a weed. Excuse me? That's all you are, Jolene. A wilting weed on the road, waiting to be trampled over this cold, wretched world. Do you think you're so virtuous for spewing out such empty platitudes? Admit it! You hate me! You despise me! If you could stomach it, you'd climb into this cell and plunge a blade into my chest, just like I did to your husband. No. Right now, I only feel sorry for you. I never thought you were weak. You were the kindest person I knew. I miss that man, but you're right. He's gone now. Good luck with your trial, Garrick. Ha! I don't need luck. With my connections, I'll be out of the cell by week's end. I don't think he's sure about that. Ugh! I'll show you. I'll show all of you. Your daughter will be of use to me yet. What? How are we going to get out of this on time? Oh, hey, she's the one that we kept seeing in the tutorials. The myriad of empty plates lay around the kitchen filled Valerie with dread. It was almost time for breakfast, and soon the students would be upon them. Valentina... Oh, identical twins. Valentina quickly passed by her sister as she snatched a tray off the counter. She was jumping between multiple stations, but even then, each movement she made was quick and purposeful. The kitchen was a machine. Valentina just had to turn each gear single-handedly. But in her hands, it ran like clockwork. Most of the time. Val, are you finished plating the smoked salmon? Right, sorry. Valerie stared at the excess of assortment of food they had prepared for the nobles' children. She grimly remembered the years that she and her sister spent starving in an orphanage. Are they even going to eat all of this? They won't. They'll taste a few of them and throw the rest out. It still has to be perfect when it hits the cafeteria. Okay. Valerie watched as her sister lifted each of the croissant slices, measuring their width against her index finger. These slices are too thick. They're going to overpower the salmon. Does that really matter? I thought they really liked your croissants. Trust me, if the ratio's off, they will make sure we know. Some of these kids would have us executed for bad plating if they could. Before Valerie could respond, one of the kitchen timers went off. Valentina quickly rushed off to the stove and began melting butter in a pot. About that, one of House Frega's attendants came by earlier. Valentina barely glanced away from the pot as she poured a bowl of eggs into it and began beating them. Her face tightened at the mention of Lady Frega. Her whisk moved slightly more violently. Ugh. What does Miriam want now? She's asking for roasted peacock. For breakfast? She also wants honey lacquered brioche, bread topped with Archean whipped cream and Ixion strawberries. And it gets even better! Just grab me the normal stuff from the pantry when you can. You know that spoiled brat can't tell the difference. Here, stir these eggs for me. Valentina handed her sister the pot of scrambled eggs. Valerie's shoulders tensed. She was great with a knife, but her forays with the stove never ended well. What? But... The stove's on low heat. Just keep stirring. Okay. Valentina's mind was already on the next task. She entered the freezer and dried out the butchered peacock. Luckily, they just received the meat shipment that morning. It hadn't fully frozen yet. She quickly tossed it onto the counter and began weaving cooking wine around its legs. Scale the Lord. These kids have no idea how good they have it. Valentina Enos was the Imperial Academy's head chef, and patissier, brewer, butcher, and saucier. The staff that used to fulfill each of those roles were let go one by one, the work of Professor Bellwether and her disdain for the commoners. At first, the twins had welcomed the chance to cook for the children of nobles. The pay was astounding. But it wasn't long before they discovered why this kitchen has such a rapid turnover. Hey, you two. How's breakfast going? The Academy's custodian trudged into the kitchen. His posture was heavy and his eyes were half dead. Same as usual, Jan. How about you? Same as usual. Yeah? Valentina recalled the many times she caught Jan napping in the pantry. Oh, Jan. I picked some of last night's risotto on the counter. Val! The eggs! Oh, right. Valentina grimaced as she looked over at the pot of eggs. The liquid was no longer emulsified. It was still edible, but it wasn't perfect. Something below the Imperial Academy's self-imposed standards. Val, come on! I have to start over now! I only left them for a second. You two look busy. I'll just... I'm sorry. Valentina pressed her hands together, closed her eyes, and took a deep breath. It's fine. Just help me prep the next batch while I grab the ingredients for Miriam's food. Okay. Oh gods. Valentina saw her sister tense up. What was it now? Catherine is coming. She doesn't look happy. Are you serious? What is that prissy little... Hello, Miss Bellwether. Professor Bellwether. Oh, what can I do for you today, Professor? Care to explain what this is? The Professor presented Valentina. Why is that capitalized? Okay. With the eggs Benedict that she'd personally prepared earlier. It looked perfect. It was exactly what she asked for, too. I'm sorry? Is there something wrong with your breakfast? These eggs are mushy and undercooked. There's no crisp to them at all. Those are poached eggs, Professor. Poached? You know, when you boil eggs in a pot of simmering water and... Boiled? Do you think this is whatever shelter Redmond plucked you out of? I won't swallow another piece of this rustic rhyme. I expect a meal befitting of the Imperial Academy. Do it right this time. Right away, Professor. Valentina thought of slapping that snooty attitude right off her face. It would be easy. She could have done it right at that moment. What did she have to lose? They were already planning on firing her anyway. But she took a breath. Nothing was worth drawing the ire of Bellwether's friends on the school board. Some professor. Who doesn't know what Eggs Benedict is? These stupid mages wouldn't know good food if it walked up to them and jumped down their throats. Oh, I'm just immediately going into the second case. The Walking Dead. Okay. I really thought that they would have me save at least before I started. With that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. Mainly because I do want to continue, but I don't know how much longer I will be able to since I stayed up pretty late. So I am running a little on empty sleep-wise. So I don't want to like start it and then have to feel and then to like super sleepy when it comes to in like a really inopportune time. And if I get sleepy, I'm gonna forget things, and with a game like this, that's a bad idea. So I will be calling it here. I finished the first case. It was kind of dumb. I have a lot more questions than answers, primarily about Arya's father, Lucio, and the about Lucio, about the god that they worship, which is the name of a dragon. So if they stuck with the dragon theme, they do worship a dragon. I have questions about the royal advisor that apparently no one knows the age of or what magic he uses. I'm curious about him. And I'm curious, really curious, about the Eyes of Horus that Tyrion uses. Because they seem like it seems like all magic is like genetically given to you. It was so like, because right now the only magic that Celeste knows is Mage Blade, and the magic that Garrick knows is he's been doing since he was a child. So I think like the control needs to be practiced, but like I don't know how the magic works in this world, and it makes me curious. Like obviously only nobles have it, at least in this kingdom. But this empire was formed by mages, so I'm not entirely sure if it's really just the nobles who have it, or if that's just how they made their kingdom into. And because I don't really have any contact with anyone outside of the Empire, I don't know. Like the only reason why Celeste knows anything about outside of the kingdom empire is because of her mercenary work. Like everyone else, especially the commoners, wouldn't know any better about what's going on outside of the kingdom because they can't go outside of the kingdom because it's literally illegal, apparently. Which is dumb. Like, that's so dumb. Like, even if it meant having to survive as, like, a pauper and, like, living on the streets, I would absolutely have tried to get out. Because, like, what do you mean we don't import anything from other kingdoms? We aren't allowed to leave the kingdom, and we're treated like absolute shit because we are not nobles and cannot use magic. It just seems sketchy as all hell. From what I remember, the empire has only been around for like 600 or so years. It's like they haven't been around for too long. At most, they're at least on their 5th king going into the 6th, or they're on their 6th and they're not even close to getting their 7th. So like it's probably 7th, but like I have too many questions and I don't know if I'll have any answers. I'm also not entirely sure how I feel about the Eyes of Horus in and of themselves. They are interesting. However, he wants to be a lawyer. He is a lawyer. But this feels like it's magic, and because magic, if he's found out to have it, because it sounds like it's something that only him and his mother had. And I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that Ruby knows that because of her being the eye holder or whatever. I don't know what that is, but she knew him and his mother, and she seems to have regrets over what happened with his mother. And from how Tyrion talked about his mom at the beginning of the first chapter, she probably also had the Eyes of Horus because she was a fortune teller, but they're commoners, which means no one knew that. So, like, if he gets caught using the Eyes of Horus, I'm wondering, like, is he going to get in trouble for not reporting that he has magic? And who is the lady who visited his dreams and made it a nightmare? I am also not entirely happy that there was a political nightmare at the end of the first case, just because that felt like it came out of nowhere. Like, I don't mind expanding the world and the storytelling and all that, but it came out of nowhere, and we just kind of got thrown all this information without knowing what to do with it. I don't know. It seems like too much. I get it, they're trying to world build, and I might change my mind on this later, depending on how things go, but it just feels too much. I do still like it. I don't like all of the systems that are being introduced. It feels like too much for their... I don't know if this is their first game or not. I need you. Who made this game? Do you have any other games? Okay, you do have another game that was made years ago. But it is not the same kind. Do you have a story? Boss rush game. So probably not. Will your memories fade to nothing? I am not sure. It is a bullet hell, and it looks like it's really just fighting. So I'm not entirely sure how that would work. If it doesn't have story, then I can kind of look past it a little bit. Just because... like, that's not something that, like, you get good at like, on your first try. I do think they probably should have, like, proofread it a little more. At least at the beginning, because we got hit with way too much, way too fast at the end of that, with no payoff, and, like, more questions with answers that kind of left, at least me, frustrated. So, like, those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts of the first chapter. Do I wish it was different? Yes. Am I going to keep playing? Also yes, because I am still very much interested. So I will continue this next week. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night. I will see you all tomorrow, as long as the storm doesn't pick up again, because it apparently is supposed to. And I will see you all then. You have a good rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Maybe later in my Discord if I decide to play something in there. Bye! There's no music, so I close the game like a dumbass. Bye-bye.